Hola, class A. Let's talk about superlatives. You use them all the time, even if you've never heard of that word before. When you guys do class pics for like seniors or just the yearbook, cutest couple, prettiest hair, prettiest eyes, those are superlatives. Just, we use them to talk about someone or something having the most or least of a characteristic or quality. In English, it's usually, but not always, it's hard to write with a mouse. EST. Of course, you know we don't have a word intelligentist. We say the most intelligent, but usually it's EST in English. Okay, here is the very involved and long formula for a superlative. Please carefully copy this down. It's so important. You may or may not have the subject because, as you know in Spanish, you can leave them out. Then, of course, you have your verb conjugated for your subject. Then you need a definite article used to match the noun. And you know your definite articles are el, la, los, or las. You may or may not have a noun here. I'll give you examples of both. Then you will have más o menos, unless, of course, you're using one of the four irregulars, and the adjective to describe the noun. Therefore, oh, beware of irregulars. Make sure you write that down as well. If I wanted to say Anna is the laziest girl in the class, I would follow this model. I have girl in parentheses and in the class in parentheses because I could take them out and still have sentences. Anna is the laziest. Anna is the laziest in the class. Anna is the laziest girl. Any of those are options. Now, keep in mind, in Spanish, there is no way of taking an adjective and adding est. What you're really saying is the girl most lazy. Some people are better at thinking in equations, and that's when this formula will help them out. Some people are better at thinking with their language side of their brain, and they'll say, oh, I know that in Spanish you can't say the laziest girl, you really say the girl most lazy, and this will help them out. Do whatever works for you. But if I follow the formula, I cannot go wrong. My subject is Anna. My verb, if I'm talking about her being lazy, that's a fairly permanent characteristic, S. Then I need my definite article, el, la, los, or las. Which one am I going to use to match girl? La. There's plenty of different ways to say girl. Chica, muchacha, niña. I'm just going to go with chica here. I have it in parentheses because technically I can leave it out. Then I need más o menos, the girl most lazy. Perezosa. Of course, the adjective has to match what I'm describing. In the class is what we say. They say de plus the group. So, de la clase is my sentence. Now, if I took out all the extra stuff, I'm just saying Anna is the laziest. Or, really, Anna is the most lazy. So if I take out all the extras, Anna es la más perezosa, the most lazy, the laziest. Alright, so we did that by following our examples. I'm also going to put a box in my notes around this part here. Please do it a little bit more neatly than I am. It's difficult with a mouse. It will come in handy later. Okay, so moving on. Let's see if you guys can do it on your own. I'm sure I have an example sentence next. Here we go. This store has the lowest prices in the world. We would say in the world. In Spanish, you would say of the world. World is mundo, if you remember. We've seen it once or twice. You do not have to recopy this information down here because we already have it. I'm just going to use it. Oh, come on. I'm going to use it for reference when we go over this example sentence in class. So write down this store has the lowest prices in or of the world and make your best attempt at writing what that would be in Spanish. Press pause if you need more time. I am moving on. We also need to talk about the four irregulars with superlatives. You guys already know your four irregulars are bien, mal, joven, and viejo. You guys know that you do not use más o menos with the four irregulars, and they often go before the noun, which is an exception to most adjectives, because usually if we say black cat, we're really saying cat black in Spanish. Some people can think that through and then reform the formula in their mind. But instead of using this formula, you don't have to write this down. I just have this here for reference. Here's what the formula will become. Okay, I'm still going to have my subject. Really, we should put that in parentheses, so let's do that. Go away. Because you guys know you can always leave the subject out. We're still going to need a verb conjugated for the subject. Then we're still going to need el, la, los, or las, our definite article. Still going to have I would still have my noun, but as we just said here, These irregulars go before the noun, so now I need my irregular adjective plus the noun. I will not use más o menos. De the group. So here is my formula. Let me draw back in the parenthesis I just erased. Here's your formula with the 4 irregulars. You should write this down. That's important. That might help you. Here's an example sentence. Anna is the oldest girl in the class. If I follow this new formula, not using más o menos, and putting the irregular adjective before the noun, I should be able to get that. So go ahead and write that down and make your best attempt at following the formula to say that. When you're ready, move on. If you're not, press pause. And one more example sentence. The mall has the best prices in the city. We say in the city, they're really saying of the city. You do not have to write down this formula again. That's my only example sentence to practice your superlatives. Next video we'll go over super superlatives. So again, a superlative in English usually ends in est. In Spanish, there is no way of saying est onto the end of an adjective, so what you really say is the most, or some cases, least blank.